Like, what is the point behind these goals? Why are we setting? Why am I wanting to attend gymnastics or, you know, get into gymnastics more for some reason? Why is that a goal, you know? And I think it just kind of goes back to this idea of a theme of having this phrase, word, term, whatever it is that embodies, that sort of just reminds you why you're doing what it is that you're doing. Hello everyone. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Deborah and I'm so glad and excited to have you on the channel today. Happy New Year. It really feels kind of good to be back. I say that as if I wasn't like creating content, quote unquote, up until the end of the year, and I totally was. But there's just something about starting off a new thing, new video, a new episode or whatever at the beginning of the year that just feels like I need to kind of introduce this with a welcome back. It's been a while. It's nice to be back. Although I haven't really, I've only been gone for like 2 days, but it is nice to be back and I'm super excited to be back here. And I do have, I don't know if you can see, I do have a podcast mic that I'm filming this video with. So this is also, I think, going to be a podcast episode. So if you're not following my podcast, it is the Where You Planted podcast, and you can find it, I think, pretty much on any platform that you can listen to podcasts. That's where you can find it. And I think I just sort of had, it's not a unique idea by no means. One of my favorite YouTubers actually started doing this thing where she just records videos, but she has like a podcast mic in front of her. And I kind of like the idea. It makes me feel a little bit, it makes this seem a little bit more serious than it actually is. And I think there is just kind of something nice about, you know, just speaking into a podcast mic. But it is like 2 p.m. on January 2nd, and I am drinking, I guess you'd call it a latte. Yeah, it's like a shot of espresso and steamed milk. I'm pretty sure that's what a latte is. But a couple weeks back, I got myself this secondhand espresso machine, and it's something that I'd been wanting for like most of 2022, but I just kind of kept putting it off and putting it off. Like there were just other more important things. And then finally towards the end, I'm like, you know what, F it. I'm just going to get this thing because I've been thinking about it and it's something I really want. So yeah, so now I really kind of romanticize, quote unquote, the process of making myself a cup of coffee. And espresso, coffee, espresso, they're good. They're really good. But yeah, I suppose in the spirit of the new year, I just kind of wanted to come in here and sort of talk about, you know, what 2023 can embody for me, and I guess for maybe a lot of other people that are tuned into this. When I record these things, it's more so as a way to share what I'm thinking or what I want to do for myself, in the hopes that somebody stumbles across this and can relate to it one way or the other, or they're able to retrofit it somehow so that it's more relevant for their life, right? When I share these things, it's more from a personal point of view. I'm not really trying to give advice or tell people what to do, but I'm just hoping there's like a takeaway there somehow. But yeah, so today I just kind of wanted to talk about goals and like goal setting and 2023 in terms of goals, but more in particular, rather than seeing or just making a list of goals that we want to achieve in the year, in the quarter, whatever it might be, it might be useful to have a theme for the year. And I'm gonna say this is like not an original idea. I came across this idea of a theme for the year or for the month or for whatever through a video. I think her name's Sustainably Vegan, or her channel is called Sustainably Vegan. But she came across the idea from another YouTuber, and her name is Lavender. And I haven't watched the original YouTuber's video because I'm lazy. But really, and sustainably, her name's Amy. In Amy's video, she was just really kind of saying that what Lavender was trying to say is, rather than having like starting off with like a list of things you want to achieve in 2023, rather than doing that, it might be helpful to approach this from a sort of systematic or a unified standpoint. So by having a theme, and what that means is just pick a word, a phrase, a feeling, whatever. No, not a feeling, a word, a phrase, a term, or whatever that sort of embodies what you want the year to be, what you want 2023 to be, and kind of sort of working backwards and backwards engineering it, and then coming up with a list of goals. I don't know if that second part, the backwards engineering it, is something that Lavender like suggests, but to me that's what makes the most sense. Now, so back in like November, I think, or maybe even October of 2022, I had sat down and come up with like a long, like a 13 list goal of all the things that I wanted to achieve in in 2023. So it went from things like, you know, getting into gymnastics, went in like, there's things like traveling more, I think maybe eating more healthy, maybe learning more about finances. It was just like these really specific goals that I had listed for myself. And I think it's good to be very specific in terms of what it is that you want or what it is that you're trying to achieve. But I feel like it's like, you're specific for what though? Like, what is the point behind these goals? Why are we setting, why am I wanting to attend gymnastics, or, you know, get into gymnastics more for some reason? Why is that a goal, you know? And I think it just kind of goes back to this idea of a theme, of having this phrase, word, term, whatever it is that embodies, that sort of just reminds you why you're doing what it is that you're doing. And I think that's really crucial, because sometimes you just make goals just because we feel like it's something we need to do. I know people that don't like to set like New Year's resolutions, and I don't think I'm the kind of person that really likes setting New Year's resolutions, maybe because it's just like, to me, yeah, it's a new year, but it's like time can't tell whether the heck it's a new year or not. Time's just marching on. So in my mind, I'm thinking it doesn't matter. My life is just not gonna like flip a switch and change from December 31st to January 1st. I'm like still, you know, essentially the same person. So why does it, like, I've never really seen the point of a New Year's resolution or New Year's resolutions, but it's something that I kind of quote unquote did in the past just because other people were doing it and I felt like I needed to do it, but I never took them seriously, right? Because again, it's just this list of long list or whatever of things that you want to achieve, or imperfections that you see in yourself that you're trying to change. And I think when you approach it from that kind of point of view, it almost makes it seem like, I feel like you're almost bringing in an element of resistance to it, right? So that's why I really don't like to participate in like resolutions. But I do like goals. I do like setting goals. Like 2022, I had a number of goals that I set, and that I'm very thankful that I was able to meet, you know, like losing weight, for instance. Another one was just like kind of getting my finances in order, paying off credit cards, saving more. Those were goals that I was able to meet. And yeah, so those are like realistic goals that, you know, I felt like they were kind of non-negotiables. I had to achieve them. But back to this idea of like having a theme, I think it just really makes a lot of sense to me. And I feel like I've just been talking without really saying what my theme is. So my theme for 2023 is putting myself out there, in 2023, I want to put myself out there more. And you could be like, what the heck does this mean? Well, cause like I feel like the last several years I've been playing small. I've been living small. I haven't really done a lot of things. I haven't traveled that much. I've never been outside of Canada. The only other country I've been to is Nigeria, and I don't count the stopovers in Germany and Amsterdam because those don't count. Visiting a country's airport is not the same as visiting the country. But beyond Nigeria, I've never left Canada. And even within Canada, I have done very little traveling within the province. And I feel like, I mean, in the past, I know why I was kind of like playing small. Well, not playing small intentionally. I think I was too young to see it as that. But in the past, I was convinced that once I got a boyfriend, and this probably sounds ridiculous to some people, but I think somebody out there can resonate and can relate to this. But my thinking was that once I got a boyfriend, I would be able to travel. I'd have a companion with whom I could do stuff, with whom I could go places, with whom I could like experience things. And looking back now, I can understand where that Deborah was coming from, because in many ways I still am, not that I'm afraid of doing things alone now. I think I've become a bit more mature and I'm able to sort of do things if I want to, when I want to. Not that there isn't some resistance there, but the point is I can relate to that Deborah because I guess of this just like, there's just an ease that comes with having someone with like a guaranteed partner and a boyfriend with whom you can go places. That is, if they share your idea of like a fun place to go or a fun thing to do is the same as theirs. So I can relate and understand, but that just goes to show how I've kind of like sort of put my life on hold for a little bit and didn't do a lot of things just because I didn't want to do them alone. So for me this year, and I mean, my mindset has been changing. I've been more willing to, I mean, I do travel by myself within Canada quite a bit, and I'm able to, you know, go and do things on my own, and I'm usually fine. But this year, I want to push the envelope a little bit. I want to take that a step further. I really want to put myself out there more, stop playing small, and stop keeping myself boxed in a sense, you know, because it just limits what it is I feel like I can do, I can experience, what I can offer to like my community and like the people that I can meet on the way too, right? So yeah, and it's not just wanting to travel more, but it's also putting myself out there in the sense of just being fearless. You know, I think, not that I'm afraid, but I think I tend to over-rationalize things, and it really keeps me, it leaves me small. It keeps me from doing and being, you know, getting to that potential, to that authentic, true self that I know is within me, right? So, you know, I want to put myself out there, and that could look like, you know, loving wholeheartedly and unconditionally, giving my time, my skills, whatever, for free to the community, being present in the community and doing as much good as I can. It could be saying yes to new experiences and not caring too much about if it's realistic, if it makes sense, just saying yes, obviously within reason, but to like saying yes to things I know will fulfill me, there's a particular word that I love so much and I just can't think of it right now, but saying yes to experiences that will expand me and myself and my sense of self. It's saying yes to creative things, to doing whatever it is that I want to do creatively, to express myself creatively as much as I want without caring what other people might say or what other people would think. Because here's the thing that I'm learning the older that I get. people don't really care that much about us as much as we think that they care about us. Does that make sense? I think we spend a lot of that time thinking, oh my God, this person is, what will they think, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, they might give maybe a second or whatever of their thought to you, but in the grand scheme of things, people are thinking about themselves more often than not. And that is so liberating, I feel like, because it's like, first of all, if nobody's really thinking about you anyway, it's like, yeah, you can do whatever you want, but at the same time, it's like, it also just gives you this ability to not care. And I think that's just what I'm getting at, is to just do what I want, as long as I'm not harming anyone, do what I want, express myself in a way that is true to me, and just not care what the heck anybody has to say about it, because when it comes down to it, it's my business. And putting myself out there is, yeah, really just embracing this failure, the notion that failure is kind of inevitable, especially if you're doing something for the first time. If you're putting yourself out there, you might be shut down. Someone might think you're doing too much, whatever. But just like, that is kind of the point of living, you know? It's just, yeah, just embracing all of it. Yeah, and I also want to like learn new skills and expand not just like my personal skill set, but also my professional skill set. So it's also like saying yes within reason and not doing more than I can. Saying yes to like work projects and just dipping my toes into everything. Because one thing about me is I'm such a curious person and I always want to learn new things. But again, this fear of failure and this not being wanting to play small kind of sometimes holds me back from doing any of that, right? And it's just time to kind of say no. I think the point is, this theme of putting myself out there is that it's just time for me to finally start to live my life. And yeah, so while I do have a list of things that I want to achieve in 2023, none of those goals will matter if I'm still playing small, right? None of those goals will matter if I'm not embodying this theme of just wanting to put myself out there, of not playing small anymore, of just being adventurous and open and just wholeheartedly enjoying life. So yeah, what's one of the goals? I can join a gymnastics club. But if I am packing up my shit at the end of each class and going home and not socializing with people, then I'm not really embodying that theme. And it can be really hard because I am in a way shy, but I think I'm more so reserved. And so the whole community building aspect of it can be difficult because sometimes I want nothing more than to just go home at the end of a day and I just don't want to be socializing. But I think community is so important, and but I think I'm going off on a weird tangent. So this whole chat is not really to talk about goals that I want to achieve in 2023. I'm not saying having goals is bad. I think it's good. I think it's good to have real solid targets that we want to meet. But the point of all of this is to just kind of take a step back and figure out what the intention is behind the goals that we set, and figure out if we can make a promise to try to embody that intention and let that be the carrying theme for the year or for the next whatever years, or even for the rest of your life. Maybe like the carrying theme for your life is, I want to be the kind of person that puts herself out there. And I think that's a good life theme to have. But yeah, so I'm hoping this encourages someone to just take a second, and maybe more than a second, just take some time to sit and really think, why am I setting these goals? Is this really what I want? What in my core, in the core of my being, what is my soul really calling me to try to be? And how can I be that this year? I think is kind of like the point that I'm trying to get across today, and I hope it came across well enough. But yeah, I don't really have much else to share. I'm hoping that I can do videos like this more often. I kind of like sit down videos and kind of like chatty, reflection-y videos. Like I said, I don't feel like I'm very qualified to give anybody advice on anything, because I'm still just figuring out my own shit for the most part. But I think that's where the beauty lies, is as I'm kind of thinking through these things, I'm able to share them, and we can kind of think through them together and reflect on them together, because I think these are like really important life questions and things we have to consider. But I hope y'all have enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate every single one of you. And if you're new here, don't forget to like this video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank y'all so much, and I'll see y'all next time in another video. Bye.